What is going on, boys and girls of YouTube? It's been a little while since we've done, we've been in that full grind mode. I'm getting back to it. That time is over. Okay, so we're doing top 5 videos, banging all those out. So all you guys asking what to play, what's the best gods in the game, what god should I play in the jungle, this and that. These are the answers for you. I have it for you, have it all ready to go. So we're gonna get into it. We're gonna work our way from number 5 up to number 1. I'm gonna talk about builds. Smite source is actively being updated. I just spent a lot of time looking through a bunch of pro streamer streams to see what they're building, and for most roles it's pretty easy to find like a really consistent build. So that's gonna get all up on Smite source. We're gonna talk about that now, and you guys will have the information, so let's go ahead and get into it. So jungling right now, really wide open, right? Ability gods are good, auto attack gods are good. You're seeing a bit of everything played, to be completely honest with you. But at a casual and a ranked level, I feel like there's a really solid 5 that you should be looking at and playing as much as possible. At ranked, a lot of these are banned right now. Just junglers and assassins are banned all the time. So we're gonna talk about it. Number 5 on our list is Arachne. Arachne's got a lot of weird back and forth, but Arachne has had one of the highest win rates in the jungle for the course of the last 10 years of Smite. That's for casuals and ranked. That doesn't apply to a competitive level, because at a competitive level, when there's lots of very precise grouping, Arachne doesn't cut it. In ranked and casual, there is not precise grouping. The communication is minimal. The reactions and playing off of teammates is pretty much non-existent. So we don't take into account that grouping aspect being a major part. I mean, it's obvious by the win rate. Arachne has the best early aggression. Mannequins is still very good. We went through a period of time where when everyone got tankier, when they dropped that patch, everyone got tankier. Arachne was kind of maybe thought to be underperforming, or just seemed like she would underperform, but she's not. She's still able to bully. She's still able to get early kills and kind of able to do whatever she wants. Now for the build, it's pretty straightforward in my mind. You're going Mannequin Scepter because you want early kills. You are then going right into a Golden Blade because you want to farm and pressure as much as possible. If you are spending less time killing jungle camps, more time trying to go for ganks and just running through the enemy team's jungle, you'll end up getting more kills. Just straightforward and how it works. Now, Arachne does not need haste and katana. This is not an item you should be looking at. I get that question way too often. You do not need that item, okay? I go into Executioner here because I want to be able to shred tanks early, and you do not need kins yet at this point. And when we're looking at Executioner, we are looking at the Ferocious Executioner. We are not going Heavy Executioner. Have to talk about this. Heavy Executioner caps your attack speed at 1.75. The only god that can get over the attack speed cap with this is Ravana because of his passive and his ultimate. Don't build this on Ravana, please. This item is terrible if you are building any other attack speed items. So if I see another hunter or another auto attack jungler build this item with full attack speed items, I'm gonna lose my mind. Don't do that. Ferocious Executioner is what you are building in this slot. You are then going into the kins. This build has pretty much been the same forever. There's a little bit of variety now, so it's up to you, but that is what it is. Got the kins. And then once you get to this point, you're looking at whether you want to go more penetration, which would end up being like a serrated edge. You can look at still picking up a silver branch over the serrated edge. That is an option. You can't really go wrong once you have this core build. The biggest thing you want is a little bit more damage. If you need a Magi's, that would go in one of these slots as well. And you want to make sure you have enough pen to kill the tanks. Okay. So like I said, you can't really go bad here. There is no like terrible item. It's 100% up to you. When I'm going full blown damage, I'm going to go the silver branch in this slot, if I can find it. And then I'm going to go the oboe because I just want to I just want to insta kill. I want insta kill. I want max burst. That oboe proc is going to hit very hard at this point. This mannequins is going to become a mannequin's mace. And you can sell the golden blade once you're full build because you aren't really worried about just straight farm. It's still a good item, and it's not you don't have to sell it. You're not going to get a lot out of selling it, but you can sell it. If you're selling it, you're looking at picking up Wind Demon. That's going to give you more pen just built into the auto attacks. You're going to be looking at that Magi's Blessing, or if you need anti-heal, you're going to look at a Toxic Blade. And that will be your full build when you're running around on Arachne, and it will shred. You will destroy everybody. The mannequin's mace and mannequins will allow you to do early objectives before anyone else and solo a lot of those as long as you have a little bit of a lead. And that's what you're playing around. Okay. Arachne is very good. Just process that Arachne is insanely good. She is one of the best 1v1 gods in the game. She can take advantage of anybody that's out of position, and that's your goal. Get onto a squishy target when they're out of position, when they're alone, insta-kill them. Okay? So that's number 5 on our list. Number 4 on our list is Ravana. And Ravana is just, doing Ravana things. He always has been. He always will be. The reason Ravana is so good is because he has 2 abilities that can avoid taking damage, essentially. The ult, you can jump out of anything. You're immune. You can get out of, Krakens. You can get out of any CC that's coming. You can get out of any line ults. You can get out of anything. You can avoid everything. On top of that, what a lot of people don't realize is that ultimate makes you take less damage. It has damage mitigation into the ultimate. So not only do you do 500 damage plus 100% of your physical power, so that ult's hitting for 700 to 900 damage, you get a 10% damage increase, and you also get the damage mitigation of 30%. So you take 30% less damage for 5 seconds after you ult. That ultimate is an insanely good engage ultimate. Then you have your 2, which is a damage immunity for 1 second. Gives you a little bit of movement speed during it, and also does damage. So between those 2, you should not be eating a ton of damage. You should avoid damage all the time. You are not just throwing the 2 out to do damage. You're saving it to avoid damage. And when you use it to avoid damage, also make sure it hits somebody. Then you get both out of it, okay? If you're doing that alone, you will perform better than 90% of the bad players who are you're jungling against. Then on top of it, you have 2 more damaging abilities. You have a 1 that's going to hit very hard and slow on a very short cooldown. And you have a 3, which is going to hit very hard, heal you, and CC them in a root. A little bit longer cooldown on the 3, but that's not a problem. We aren't worried about that, right? God Builder, item-wise, should be fairly straightforward all the time. You're looking at getting the Bumbus Hammer online as soon as possible. You're going to just go Bumbas, obviously, to level 20. Now that maces have been somewhat buffed, they all got 5 power put onto them. I like building back into that mace tree. All right. So you're going to go Jotuns. And when we're talking Jotuns, we're going to the Jotuns Cunning. I don't upgrade to the Jotuns Cunning until I have 2 items finished. Just so you know. So I would go Jotuns, Crusher, and then upgrade to Jotuns Cunning. That's pretty much just how I've been doing it for a while. If they have healing or really any form of sustain at all, build Brawlers. It's an insanely good item. It has 55 power now. Then we're going Heartseeker, and then we are going into more Pen. And they just buffed the Titan's Bane. So with this build, you're going all 4 maces, which hasn't been a thing in a very long time. We're getting the Heartseeker. We're going to have 30% Pen. We're going to have 40% CDR with the red pot, 30% with the Bumbas, and a ton of damage and a ton of flat Pen. I mean, if you really look at the stats of a build like this, it's ridiculous. You're talking 315 physical power, which is just very, very, very good. Immense survivability out of this god in general. We have 40 flat Pen. You have 30% Pen. And this is without the red potion popped. Not losing out at all. This build is not losing out. If you want to max out power, you would drop, and you don't need any anti-heal at all, you would drop the Brawlers. You would go Transcendence first. Then you would go Jotuns. Then you would go Crusher. So you would shift these 2 forward, drop the Brawlers, Transcendence here. Okay. So that would be the max power build you'd be looking at. And honestly, just with how simple Ravana is to play, once you understand you shouldn't be taking damage when your 2 and your ult are up, if you just get that through your head, the game will become simple. The game will become easy when you're playing that god. So that is number 4 on our list. Number 3 on our list is Kali. Kali's nuts. That's all there is to it. Her ult gives you a full health reset. They did nerf her a little bit. They nerfed the ultimate. That sustain you get out of it. I don't really know why, but they did. So that's a thing. I guess not the ultimate. I don't know why I said they nerfed the ultimate. They nerfed the passive healing you get from her passive. Kind of goes hand in hand with the ult almost, but not exactly. So you only heal over 60% now instead of, I think it was 80%. I think it was 80%, 20%. Like heal and kill is 80. Assist was 20. I think now it's 60-20. I get the idea of a nerf on Kali, but I don't think it really changed anything. I think she's still just insanely good. She's another W key god similar to Arachne. Needs a little bit more farm, but also has a much stronger team fight than Arachne. Does very well in group settings where Arachne does not. So, God Builder. We're going into I don't know why I'm on this. We're going into an Eye of the Jungle. That Eye of the Jungle is going to upgrade into a Seer of the Jungle. Now, if you look at the stats, Protector of the Jungle has more stats. It has 10% more attack speed. It gives you power while in the jungle, and it gives you more flat power. The thing is, Seer of the Jungle, whenever you kill a large minion, the large camp on a neutral, you kill the large creep in the mids, you kill speed buff, whatever. You get a buff for 30 seconds that allows you to run around and see all the wards on the map. So by the time you're getting this item, by the time you're level 20, that's going to be fire giant fights and major objective fights. this item is going to allow you to clear Fire Giant wards every single time for free. That makes this one of the best team items in Smite's history, period. So you're going to upgrade to that Seer the Jungle at level 20. Once again, we're going Golden Blade for farm. After this, we are going into Hasten Katana, one of the only like 2 gods, I think, or 3 gods, really 3 gods in Smite that should be building Hasten Katana, and you want it early so you can stick to targets. You are then going to go into the, if I can find it, the Executioner, and we're going to upgrade that Exi into the Ferocious Executioner. Once again, not heavy. We want Ferocious. Then we're going to go into the Kins. I don't know why I just clicked on Executioner again. That was not it. That was not the way to go. And then last item, you can go Serrated if you want more pen, but remember your passive on this god gives you 30% pen on your target, on your selected target or whatever target you end up with, or you can go into Oboe. Okay, you have options. Once again, just like Kali, you have options. I'm gonna throw the Oboe here. This can be Serrated. It's up to you. Late game, sell the Golden Blade for whatever you need. Magi's Blessing, extremely good to keep you in the team fight, and you're not gonna lose out on much damage. If you don't feel you need that, Toxic Blade for anti-heal. If you don't feel you need that, then you're looking at whatever item you decided not to go. So Oboe or Serrated, get both. So we have Oboe in the build already. We would go Serrated in here. The amount of percent pen you have with Serrated is ridiculous. You're just shredding everybody. You're kind of unstoppable at that point as long as you aren't getting CC'd. That's why Magi's is almost more valuable than Serrated in this slot. So that's Kali. She's number 3 on our list. If you aren't playing Kali right now, I don't know what you're doing. I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not know what you're doing. Next up, number 2 on the list, Lancelot. Lancelot is nuts. I hate Lancelot. He's so good that it's almost not fun to play him. He's banned in every ranked game I've seen, and then in casual level, when he's played, he just kind of runs your pockets. He dumpsters you. He's hitting very hard. His 2 hits really hard. His 1 hits really hard. His 3 is just very, very good for moving around the map, especially late game. And then your ultimate makes it so if you're using it properly, you just can't die because you're going to ult out, you're going to reposition, and you're going to be good to re-engage. Build-wise, basically just a raw ability jungler. We're going into Bumbus Dagger and then finishing that out into a Bumbus Hammer. I like Transcendence. You burn through mana on this god so fast, it's actually ridiculous. So I like to go Transcendence on him. And then I like to go into the Jotuns, and then I like to go into the Crusher. This Crusher can be a Brawler's or a Crusher, depending if you need anti-heal or not. Then you're going into that Heartseeker, if I could build right, or find it. And then you are going into your Titan's Bane, okay? So, that's the core build. Now, if you want to cap out on early CDR, you have some options. Hydra's is very, very good to use between the 1. So you can 1 auto 1, right? Or however you go about it. 2 auto 1 auto 1. So Hydra's works very, very well in this kit. It is not necessary at all because the ability damage is so nuts. But Hydra's works very, very well. In the case that you want to go Hydra's and you want to play around that auto attack, I would drop the Jotuns. I would move the Crusher to this slot, if it would have let me. So I would move the Crusher second, and then I would go Hydra's here. This build with Red Pot will still give you 40% CDR. It'll just take a little bit longer. But you'll get a lot more burst damage and just a lot more overall damage into this build. I would really suggest trying this and trying the other build to see which feels more fluid for you. Because when I play Lancelot, I feel like the auto attacks are not necessary. The Hydra's autos are not necessary at all. And it's almost better to just be spamming abilities the whole time rather than trying to do these like half-ass auto attack cancels. It's just almost not worth it to me. And since Lancelot's new, I want to talk about the abilities. I level up the 2 first in the jungle because I want to get that instant burst off. Plus for jungle clear, it's just better. Then I'm maxing the 1 whenever I can. So 2 and 1, max those first. And then I personally, depending on how the game is going, I shift it up. So leveling up your 3 will give you a fatter health shield, which is really, really valuable. But leveling up the ult is going to give you more damage. So if you're in a huge W key match, like where you just keep fighting and you are just clobbering them, level the ult whenever possible. If you're kind of playing the survival factor that you're getting focused and you need to live, level up to 3 at that point. So either or works. They're both very strong. That's Lancelot. I have Lancelot at number 2. Well, I think Lancelot is nuts. There are a lot of things that kind of shut him down. Cripple makes it very difficult to play the god at all. And then heavy CC comps. Anytime you're trying to get off damage, if you're getting CC'd on that god, you just fall over. So that's why he's number 2. Number 1 on our list, been number 1 for like the last year, I feel like Nemesis just slaughters everybody. Can kill tanks, can insta-kill squishies, has one of the strongest kits in the game, has damage reflect on the 3, has really good mobility because you get movement speed whenever you ult somebody. You have a slow so you can kite people, and then you have your 1 for that actual mobility of the dashing. And then build-wise, you have so much open for how you want to play the god. So many options. Personally, Eye of the Jungle into that Seer, I think pretty much always very strong and unstoppable. All right. Golden Blade, because you want to farm. You need to farm out the early game, right? And then you get to start making decisions on whether you want to go hybrid-y auto attack ability based, you want to go full auto attack based, or you want to shift into an ability base. I think the like half and half is the best option. Erendite being one of the best items in the game for Nemesis because it makes your ult even stronger. Whenever you ult somebody on Nemesis, you take away their movement speed, you make yourself faster, right? Erendite makes you even faster. So you can move around like a maniac and be unstoppable. Then I like to go on Hydras at this point, get yourself a little bit more CDR in line. Then I like to go into the Heartseeker. And then last item, I like to go, you can go Titan's Bane if you want, but Serrated's probably gonna end up being a better option for you. And you're getting kind of like a mix of a little bit of attack speed, a little auto attack base. You want the auto attack canceling out of the Hydras, and then your abilities are just hitting very, very hard, along with your auto attacks are hitting very, very hard. This is going to be hyper consistent for you. It is going to be a very, very consistent build for you that is not going to struggle ever. Now, if you're one of those people who just wants to play, you know, pure auto attack base, that is perfectly fine. At this point in the game, you can look to get the Kins or the Xe. Probably Kins because your ult is going to be shredding, but you are lacking pen here. So depending on how your ult's playing out, you'll decide. If you do decide to go Xe, go into that Ferocious Executioner again. Go into the Kins at this point, if I can find it. So yeah, Kins, and then this will be your full build for an auto attack build. Sell the Golden Blade late game for whatever you need. Whether it's anti-heal, you get a Toxic Blade. If you're that ability-based build, that could be a Brawler's Beat Stick. If you want to survive, it's a Magi's Blessing. And it's that simple. I save this to the end for a reason. People seem to think when they play Smite that every game you are counter building and your build's changing immensely and you're never building the same build. That is not how this game works, okay? That is not how Smite works. There is counter building, but the most there is in counter building is building anti-heal into your kit, stacking a specific type of defense if they have heavy of that damage on the enemy team. So they have 5 physical gods, so you build a little bit of physical defense. That is very, very rare, and that is not necessary. That kind of makes the match a little bit easier just because you know they're all going to do the same type of damage, but that is not necessary at all, by any means. Look at the SPL. They're building almost the exact same build every single game. If you see them play, you know, an ADC 5 games in a row, they're building the exact same build every game. And it's because the math has been run, and as well as the math, there's the practicality. How is it going to apply to an actual match? So building the most power in the game isn't necessarily ever going to be the best thing in the game, because in practicality, when you're actually using it, when you're playing the game, it doesn't apply the same. The max power does not do enough because you need survivability, you need lifesteal, you need penetration for specific targets. So these builds are going to consistently work and do very well. They are not going to fail you because you can't counter build or you're not counter building. Stop thinking like that. Tell your friends to stop thinking like that. That is not how Smite has ever been played in 10 years. I played this game professionally for 10 years. I have played ranked and everything the entire time. There's been no point in Smite's history where you are counter building every match. You aren't changing up your build every single game. That does not happen. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you can stop thinking about how to build and start realizing you don't need to worry about how to build. You need to worry about how to get better because you stink. Please, 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 please process that information for the love of everything in this world. I've had to answer and talk about that almost every day for the past 3 weeks. And I need people to start waking up and realizing, just copy the top builds, copy Smite Source, copy what I'm telling you, because I literally just looked up SPL players and what they're building and everything and what they're doing on their streams to come up with this stuff. This isn't me making up builds when I do these top 5 videos. So please do this for the love of everything in this world. Hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the video later tomorrow, the next day, and the next day.